when you coach at your alma mater, if you've had success as a player in one way, shape, or form, it kind of lays the blueprint down for you as a coach as to what it looks like, right? We won 49 games that year in 2015. We hosted a regional. Um, we had first round picks. We had 40th round picks. We had all Americans. We had all conference players. But most importantly, like that was the definition of a team. And that's what I really take from it. But I make sure that I'm in line with this group in terms of like, '03 when we went to Omaha is amazing. The 2015 team was elite. The 2017 team was also elite, but this is our team, right? And we got to do things our way, with your personalities and our talent and go do it at our level. So I don't forget those days, that's for sure. It was a special time in my life and this program's history, and it's something that'll always be a piece of how we go about business here. But this is a new group, and when you deal with the transfer portal like we were just talking about, you got a lot of new faces every year, so you got to do a good job of just making sure this team is their own thing.
Yeah, and one thing that makes this team unique in particular is you got two-way guys, both doing it at an extremely high level.
Honestly, the dead honest truth is that for a long time here, we've dealt with Title IX issues. So we've had to play with a shorter roster than everybody else, right? Post COVID, everyone had 40 players, 40 plus players. We were playing with 30. Like that's a significant drop off, right? When you try and roll in and play Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Missouri, Kansas State every year, like that's 10 less players. So rather than complaining about it, it's just figure out a plan. And the easiest one is get one player that can do two things for the price of one, right? And we've hit on that. We've had really good two-way players over the years, and we're fortunate right now. We actually have three on our roster, Aiden Shell being the third one. These guys are legit. They can do it on both sides of the ball, and it helps us a ton. And now with the rosters being short for everybody else, right, going to 34, we're kind of ahead of the game with that because we've been doing it. So it's something we take a lot of pride in. We're always looking for them in recruiting.
Before we talk about some few things on your journey, you got a guy. I think my opinion is he'll be a first round pick when this year is over on the team. Just speak to Caden and his growth over the time at most states so far. He talked about a story that he went, 0 for 27 at a point, and you just kind of kept believing in him and told him that we turn it around. But kind of just talk through Caden and his growth.
The growth is pretty impressive. I mean, I remember his first fall. We were unsure if he could ever play the outfield because it looked so ugly out there, and he swung and missed in just like regular BP. But obviously, you always saw the upside, and I always just saw like a very easygoing kid, never too high, never too low. That obviously plays in this sport. Each season he's been here, he's had a tough skid, but we've stayed with him. I think the biggest reason why is he's just competitive. The 1 for 27, and I think he had like an 0 for 20 last year. Like the at bats were still competitive. He just wasn't getting results. And I do think those 2 points in his career have put him in a position now to really deal with failure, whether it be, going through his draft year right now with a lot of hype or when he gets to professional baseball. But, you're looking at a guy, like I said, that sucked in the outfield and could barely hit BP, turn into a guy that plays center field and has all the tools in the world at the plate to be a superstar one day.
When you look at Caden's arc, a lot of people would have, a lot of coaches, especially in baseball, when a guy's in the slump, they'll quit on him, they'll bench him, they'll give him a few days off, they'll put somebody else in. What is it that allowed you to take that kind of contrarian approach and keep allowing him to play through those slumps? Because obviously that's worked, and it's easy to talk about now when you're talking about a guy who you picked in the first few rounds of the draft. But at that time, that wasn't as easy of a choice. So what allows you to kind of continue to give guys confidence when they're going through a tough stretch, because a lot of coaches don't do that.
Yeah, I think it's two-faced. I mean, analytically, he manages the strike zone really well. So as the hits weren't coming, you still felt good about him getting on base. And then obviously, just when it pops and he's going to get out of that slump, it could pop at any time, and you're talking about some thunder, right? And that's how our lineup works. we definitely the past few years we can run the ball out of the yard. We can hit it hard. So it's just a matter of staying with it. But I think there's the emotional side of it too, where it's just like I said, he's an easygoing kid, right? I think it would have been much easier to take him out of the lineup if I saw him like under distress and not being able to handle it emotionally, but he handled it well, and that just made me feel confident that, he was going to snap out of it, and just got to trust the process, keep working, and that's what he's always done in his career.
You've been at Mo State both as a player and as a coach now for a long time. If you got one anecdote that kind of speaks to how special this place is,
Blue collar. Um, we for years you could go. I didn't play here in the 90s. I didn't play here in the 80s, but I know all the stories. I know the coaches who coached those players. I played here in the teens of of 2000s, and I coached here in the, beyond 2021. So like I kind of know a little bit about every era, and every era here has been blue collar, about hard work and about playing with a chip on their shoulder and not scared to go into any ballpark and compete, and we're going to play a tough schedule every year. And we're going to hang with those schools regardless of what the resources are on and off the field. And that is the representation of what Missouri State baseball is. It's my job to continue to push that. And it's extremely challenging in today's world where there are a lot of transfers, right? There are guys in and out of your locker room. There are a lot of external factors that create distractions for 18 to 22-year-olds. So my job and our staff's job is to constantly push that if you wear this uniform, it's about being blue collar, it's about being a hard worker, because it's going to impact us on the field and it's going to impact you when you leave this program. But that's who we are here at Missouri State.
when you look back at your time as a player, what was your highlight of being a player at Mo State? You have a lot to choose from. You guys had a ton of success. And then what do you think the hardest thing you dealt with as a player was during your time as a Bear?
The easy answer is just the success we had, right? Like 2015, that year was special, times of our lives, all those players that, we'll never forget, right? I mean, that team went on an absolute heater that you could never even imagine. But it was a team that was just tight knit, and we took advantage of every day together, and winning is fun, and that was what we did that year, and I'll never forget that. I would say the toughest thing also plays a role in what our favorite part was, or my favorite part that 2015 year was, there was no portal back then. In 2014, we sucked. We were below 500. We could not hit a lick. Um, we just weren't good, but you had no choice. I mean, you're running back the same team, and we added Jake Berger, who was a freshman. Obviously, he's a major league player now, but he was a freshman. That was pretty much like him and a JUCO player were kind of the only bats we added to the lineup, and we returned the same pitching staff, and we won 49 games, right? So going through that 2014 year was tough. Like I hated losing. You start questioning if you're going to be able to do it while you're at Missouri State, because you want to be a part of that tradition and that history. And I still remember this day. Like, I think we returned that next year. We had four seniors who had we had been together since our freshman year, and it was just like, we're gonna flip this, we're gonna do it, but it's gonna take a lot of hard work. It's gonna take a lot of effort. It's gonna take leadership, and that's what we did. So 2015 was dark, and 2015 was bright, and they both go together.
Yeah, and sometimes the things that are bright are a lot sweeter
Yeah.
because of the dark that led up to you had to go you get a little bit more appreciation, and also probably helped you as a coach. I have to imagine to have seen both sides of that as a player, because it gives you a little bit more patience, right? To know that building something can take some time, even though you've had a lot of success so far as a head
Yeah, I
coach.
mean, it did, like, that experience as a player was huge for me, because last year we started 5-11, and we were not good at the beginning of last year. We had to fix it quick. And rather than staying status quo, we made adjustments in the like at the 16 game mark. And last year's team, man, they went on a heater, and they were good. We were really good, that second half of the year, and we won the regular season conference title, and one game from a regional. So that, you know, those experiences as a player played a big role in it. But, you know, I come from a pro ball background, which is heavy, you know, centered around development. And you can't forget about development in season. And I thought we did a good job of that last year. And it's something that we're, you know, doing as we speak today, right? We got hitters that need to take a step forward right now going into the weekend, and we got work to do these next 2 days to get them right. And you know, my time as a player and a coach and player in pro ball like that has helped me a ton.
When you leave Mo State, long time from now, what do you want your legacy as a Bear to be?
A coach that just never took a day off and treated every person under this roof the same and at a high level with high expectations. I'm just someone that cares deeply about people. So I think whenever my legacy's done, there's going to be wins and losses, but I just want anybody who was a part of this program and interacted with me felt like I cared about them, and that allowed them to care about this program as much as I do.